Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 97 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on January 18th, 2022. How you folks doing? Man, are you getting a productive start to your week? Man, I'm literally trying. I'm giving it the old college try. It's SHOT Show time, dude. So there are a few neat guns being released. I have to say there are a few here and there. So it's distracting me a little bit. I saw the FN released a high power. I was like, what? But then I saw more about it and I was like, oh. But then I saw another thing about it. I was like, oh. I was like, it's like a swing of emotions for me. When different guns get released. It's a fun time of year. It's fun to speculate. It's fun, as a firearm consumer to see all the new stuff coming out. So that's neat. Try not to get distracted by it, but it's tough. I should say it's not distracting me enough to forgo putting my 40 millimeter grenade launcher onto one of my rifles. I took apart the Airtronic 40 millimeter that I got, right? And I put it on the bottom of my 11.5 machine gun that I like, the quad rail. I was talking to you about it last time. And so I took a photo of it to show you. So I'll go ahead and I'll post that photo with this podcast episode so you can see it. It'll be in the RSS feed and it'll be on social media, so you can go look at it. It's kind of weird. It's kind of cool, but it's big old chunky. It's real big. It does make the gun rather heavy. So if you put a titanium silencer on the gun like I have in the photo, it's a little bit lighter. So that's kind of cool. It balances out the 40 millimeter a little bit at least. So it's kind of cool. I actually think there are some ways I could improve this particular launcher and the way it interfaces with the rifle, actually, particularly with the trigger guard and stuff. But yeah, I think that's probably a conversation for another time. So I do have some important things to discuss with you today regarding the PEW Science effort. So let's just get right into it, shall we? Okay. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop. That is correct. It is probably most often my infrastructure of choice for dealing with silencer purchases. I do enjoy the system they've developed. There's a reason they've grown. They continue to innovate. As a consumer, using their kiosk is pretty convenient. Putting your fingerprints in there with your photographs and all of your personal information in the forms all in one place, encrypted or at least secure, is pretty good. It's a pretty good one-stop shop for convenience, and also for me it's good because it's secure. So it's kind of a peace of mind thing. And I guess a tertiary benefit would be the error rate's really low when you use them. So that's cool. So, by and large, the error rate compared to the rest of the industry is significantly low. So it does give you that peace of mind that, okay, the information's all in one place. It's reliable, it's secure, and it's probably right. Which is the last thing you want to do is have your stuff be wrong, go through a long wait. So yeah. You cut down on your errors. You simplify your silencer purchasing process. You get a money-back guarantee. You don't have to pay a transfer fee. And no paperwork errors, just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. It is. And secondly, and most importantly, the J Situation Podcast is sponsored by PEW Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating. It is the simplest and most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. It is. It's in section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard, and it is based on true human sound perception. Okay, that whole standard that I wrote for you on the website is going to walk you through gunshot noise. It's sort of like Wikipedia, but I try to make it a little more entertaining because it's about guns, and guns are fun. So why shouldn't learning be fun too? You know what I mean? There's 7 parts. They're all on pewscience.com for you to read. And if you haven't dug into it, it's fine. There's a lot there. If you've never seen it before, I urge you just check out section 5 real quick because tells you what the suppression rating is. All right. It lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and to the shooter's ear. And it gives you a hearing safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which the silencers are tested. That's really the crux of the whole thing. And it's directly tied to human perception, right? So if it's a higher number, it's probably going to sound better. If it's a lower number, it's probably going to sound louder or more harsh, more damaging to your ears, okay? It's all there is to it. If you want to know all the nitty-gritty about all the different silencers that are examined on the website, that's in section 6. Okay, so there's detailed reviews for all the silencers published there on the website. And if that's too much for you and you want to kind of look at a summary to kind of catalog it and sort and understand, like, what am I looking at big picture? That's section 7, the rankings section. So there's a table. Like I said, it's sortable, and there's little links in there for all the silencers. So if you see something you like, you click on the link there, and it'll take you back to the review, and you can dig in, as it were. Yeah. So go wild. As always, if you're listening to this and you're a manufacturer of silencers or weapon systems, and for some reason you would like to use PEW Science for private testing or consulting services for your armament or your wares, there's a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. It certainly is. It's on the website there, pewscience.com. And if you do, anything you sent through that form is confidential. Contact information, all the test data we generate as part of any effort with you folks. It's all held in strict confidence, unless, of course, you want to release it to the public, in which case PEW Science can certainly help you do that. It is what we do. I'll actually be doing some more of that very soon. So folks can buckle up for that. There's a hint for you. You can support this podcast. You can support PEW Science. You can support all the testing that I do by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. You can. And if you don't want to do that, there's a one-time feature. You can donate through the website if you like to keep the effort going. Every little bit helps. You can give a lot. You can give a little, or you can give absolutely nothing, and that's just fine. It's just fine with me. There is something that you can do that's free, and that's spreading the word. You can even rate the podcast on Spotify there, on iTunes. You can let folks know that silencers and guns are awesome, and we can get one step closer to the normalization of suppressed small arms. That would be ideal. Okay. I got 4 topics for you today without further ado here. Topic 1, support for the PEW Science effort has been very heartwarming. And it is important to try to help others and to educate. And I would urge you to try not to do the opposite of that if you can, okay? And so that's the first topic I want to discuss with you. It's kind of a serious topic for today. Topic 2, new sound signature review this week. That's right. It's a long one, so buckle up. Gosh, I've been working on this one, and I have some technical difficulties with my website, and it's just been a time. Topic 3, listener questions. I would like to dive back into those. It's so fun to do, and we haven't hit them in a while, so I was like, yeah, I think we should dive back into there and hit some more of those for you. And then finally, topic 4, I have some more field testing coming up. So I do want to tell you, thank you for your patience as we ramp back up after the holidays. It's been interesting, and we got to continue to navigate crazy weather from Mother Nature and everything. So thank you for your patience with all that. All right. Okay, so topic 1 at a time of 9 minutes and 5 seconds. All right, let me get a drink of water. 1 second, folks. Oh man, and I just excuse me. I just had some wonderful venison chili before this too, and now I'm getting a little sleepy because I put a lot of cheese and Fritos on it because I wanted the whole thing. It was it's good. Topic 1. So I want to really speak with you frankly today on this topic, and I made it the first one just to kind of get it out of the way because I don't like talking about this necessarily, but I think it has to be said. So this topic is support for the PEW Science effort. I've been noticing has been extremely heartwarming, okay? And I think it's very important to try to help others in general as a human, okay? And I think it's important to help educate others. And that's something I like to do. And so, like a corollary to this is like I think it's important to try not to do the opposite of those two things. Okay, and what does that mean? So what am I trying to go with this? Because kind of an abstract thought here. I started Pew Science for a reason. I started it because I wanted consistent and meaningful characterization of firearm sound signatures that could be applied to the measurement of both unsuppressed and suppressed firearms. Okay, if that sentence sounds familiar to you, it's because it's verbatim the language that's in the first section of the Silencer Sound Standard on pewscience.com. It's been there for 2 years. Okay, guys? That's in writing. It's been there for 2 years. The Silencer Sound Standard, it's a series of short articles I wrote to outline who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. Okay? That's the website. That's Pew Science. That's me. Okay? That's me. That's what I'm doing. And I'm a silencer consumer like you guys. And I decided to take it upon myself to do this for everyone in the world. Okay? That's the story. That's the reality. And if you've been listening a long time, you know that. It's not a surprise to you. You know that. You know why I'm doing it. And I think I've made it clear. But if this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, and maybe you've never heard me speak before, now you know it too. Okay? So I'm not saying anything new, but it might be new to you. And it's new people listening every day, so I totally get that. And you know, I say something else on my website too. If you go to the frequently asked questions page, there is, I don't know if you guys have been to that page before, but there is a page. At the very bottom, I wrote the words, and I'm going to read it. Here, I'm going to read it right now verbatim. Your membership is greatly appreciated and supports ongoing research and development. You can also spread the word, which is equally important. Ask for the suppression rating for the products you purchase. Ask the manufacturer, dealer, or distributor to show you the suppression rating for the silencer you want to buy on the gun you want to use. If they can't, tell them how they can. Contact Pew Science. That's been on the website for 2 years. It's been there for 2 years in writing. Okay, so the reason I wrote that on the website, and the reason I tell you to spread the word on the podcast, like in every intro, is because that's the mechanism by which we can educate, right? That's no one's doing this for me. All right? I don't have partnerships with people and companies. Okay? I run Pew Science, and it's my job to get the information out so we can benefit the industry and mankind. Like that's my burden. Okay? That's the challenge I took on. The burden I took on when I decided to create the company and create PewSoft and create the Silencer Sound Standard and the entire ecosystem, like that's my burden, that's my decision, that's my responsibility, okay? I did this. So, you know, I asked for help from the membership because I figure, okay, you guys like what I'm doing. You want it to continue. You can help by spreading the word. And the more people that find out about it, the more eyes we can have on it. So the more good it does, the more testing will happen. You know, the further we can take the effort. And maybe the more people will join, the more people will contribute, the more it will flourish and be successful. Okay, I figured we will all win. You can't lose. This is my logic. Okay, you feel me? Okay. So you guys definitely delivered. Super enthusiastic. You know, you listen to the podcast, you check out the website, you share the articles. You start teaching others how silencers work. And you start really helping people is what I see it. I see it every day. Okay? It's heartwarming to me. It's cool. It makes me smile. I'm like, that's awesome. I feel like I'm giving you the tools. You're giving others the tools. And so we're creating an exponential growth of education, which is cool. That's the goal. Okay? That's one of the goals. It's awesome. And it's a pure effort, right? Nothing can pervert it. Nothing can take it away from us, right? It's protected. It's by the people, for the people. It's Pew Science. Okay, that's what it is. So that's my introduction. That's my preface. Okay, so with all that being said, sometimes people get really excited and really enthusiastic, and that's okay. It's good to be excited. And it's good to be enthusiastic about Pew Science. And I'm super excited about it because I really think it's helping people. I do. But you are going to run into people. It doesn't matter where you are. You're going to run into people that don't want to have anything to do with it. And specifically, some silencer manufacturers. They're not going to want it. They want nothing to do with this. Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, that's okay. All right? That's okay. Like, you really need to understand this. So, Pew Science does a lot of work. Like, actually, almost all of the work that Pew Science does, almost all of it, is done with member contributions privately. Okay? And I know there's a lot of talk on the internet about this and that, but I'm telling you, there is nobody on the entire planet other than me that can speak to this. So listen when I tell you, most of this is done with member contributions. Sometimes Pew Science does work with funding under contract from silencer manufacturers. You know, and what are those? What are those contracts? Well, sometimes it's specific testing work and some R&D experimentation, and it's for those particular clients. And not every silencer manufacturer wants to retain Pew Science for services, or for that matter, is able to retain Pew Science for services. Some it's not in their budget. They don't have authorization from their superiors because they don't own the actual company, which is actually pretty common. There's all kinds of reasons why a manufacturer may not want to solicit services from people. It's fine. And so, I mean, I'm telling you, some can't afford it, some don't want to do it, and it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The why doesn't matter. The reason is inconsequential. It's their business. Okay, it's their business, and Pew Science doesn't get involved with other people's businesses. It's just not. Businesses don't get involved with other businesses, or at least they shouldn't. So I don't. You understand? It's irrelevant to me. I don't. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't influence what I do. So I don't go there. I don't care, and this is important. I do not care what silencer companies do or don't do. I do not care as it relates to hiring or not hiring Pew Science to assist them with their product characterization. If they want to work with me, they will. If they don't, they won't, and that's fine. Like, I do not care. Like, I feel like I'm saying this to consumers right now and the silencer companies, because I think some silencer companies don't understand this either, which is really weird, but it is what it is. So spread the word. Okay, keep doing that. That's awesome. Like, I'm not asking you to stop doing that. I think it's awesome and it's great. But I do ask one thing. And if you don't do anything else I ask, please just consider doing this. And I'm not your dad, and you don't have to listen to me. You don't. But if you could be so kind, when and if you reach out to companies and mention Pew Science, try to be respectful to them. Okay, guys? Like, they're people just like you. They're people. They have employees. Okay, they have families. They're trying to do their jobs. Don't lower yourself to the level of people who denigrate others and treat others with disrespect. Don't be like those people. Those people are toxic and they're poisonous. Don't be like that. Okay? It's not healthy for you or for me or for anybody. You're better than that. If you're listening to this podcast and you follow what Pew Science is doing, I know you're better than that. Okay? I've said it again and again. The audience of this podcast and the readership of Pew Science is a higher level. It is a cut above. Okay? So don't pile on people, man. Don't dogpile on people trying to bully them into business practice. Like, if you do that on your own time. All right? And reflect on what it means. And don't do that for Pew Science. Okay, I don't want the Pew Science information spreading like that. I want Pew Science members to be respectful. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with requesting testing. Like, requesting folks check out Pew Science, spreading the word, sharing the knowledge, sharing test results. That's normal behavior. That's awesome, dude, obviously. But just try to be a good person. Use your moral compass. Okay? And I promise this is really awkward for me to speak with you about, but this is the only time I'm going to say it. You don't need to be reminded, but maybe you just haven't thought about it ever. So I figured I'd say it once. Just due to some stuff I've seen happen on social media, I think it was important to say. So you're never going to hear me say this again. I'm just saying it once, okay? Yeah. So thanks for your support and continue your enthusiasm, please. Just try to be good. Okay? It's going to help the industry overall. Trust me. Okay? Okay. That was harder for me than it was for you. All right. Topic 2 at a time of 23 minutes and 5 seconds. Oh, God. It's like some of you probably like, did he have to even say it? I don't know, but I chose to. Okay. It's my show. Topic 2, new sound signature review this week. This week? Yeah, it's a long one, though. Buckle up, my friends. Yeah, buckle up. Man, I've been having some technical difficulties with my web host and stuff, and I'm trying to figure some stuff out. So I am definitely moving slower on some of my publication stuff this week. What's that saying? I was going to say, man, it ate my lunch. That's a weird thing to say. It's like, man, that ate my lunch. It's like, did it? That's mean. You ever have someone like steal your lunch out of the fridge at work? That's happened to me before. Like back in the day, like I had this new guy and like he just would start stealing people's lunches. That was so crazy. Where was I going with this? Oh, right. I've been having problems with my website, and I contacted my web host, my provider person, and they said the problem's on their end. So, whenever you hear the problems on our end, it's not you on your end. Like at first you're like, oh, thank God, because you're like, man, I was trying to fix it and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And then when it turns out, you find out you're not doing anything wrong, but then they're doing something wrong. At first you're relieved because you're like, oh man, thank goodness. And then you're like, wait a minute, what if they don't fix it? So I'm like, so it shifts from like an anxiety reducing time to an anxiety increasing time. There's an inflection point in my anxiety. There is. So yeah. So be patient with me, please. Please be patient. I was ripping my hair out with this past weekend. I hope to have something for you on Thursday. It's a super long review because it contains a lot of information, but I think it'll be really good for folks to see it. I really wouldn't do it if I didn't think it would be worth doing. Even, well, I don't want to give too much away, but yeah. And so it contains some unique performance data, and actually it contains some conclusions that the manufacturer was unable to adequately show people without people shooting it. You feel me? It's one of those things. So it's one of those things where PEW Science can really help people understand product performance. And for those people who can't actually shoot the silencer themselves, it's a really, like, I would say it's really, really hard to believe some of the conclusions without test data. I will say that. And it's one of those reviews that if you told me what would happen, oh, excuse me, this chili, I'm telling you, this chili was so good, but I ate way too much of it. What was I saying? Oh, right. This review is one of those that if you told me what would happen, I might say, yeah, I don't believe you. but like, you know, like what's that Will Ferrell? What movie was that Will Ferrell was in when he's like, I don't believe you. That's basically what I would say to you. If you, but trust me, I like the data's pretty cool, and it was actually, gosh, and I can't wait to release it so I can talk to you about it next episode. But I remember when I was talking to the manufacturer, I get this, and this is really weird, and I don't know that if I've ever told you guys this before, but I get this really, really weird satisfaction when consumers and manufacturers confirm my findings. Like, it's just cool. It's like a rush, because like I'll write something completely and utterly like out of left field based on what I see in the data, and then someone will be like, oh dude, that's exactly what I noticed when I shot it. And I'm like, oh my God, it works. And I know the data's right, and I know it's meaningful, and I know the analysis is right, but every time it's like revalidated, it still feels good. I don't know how to explain that other than just that's what it is. Like here's an unrelated example to silencers. In my career, I've done a lot of different experiments, and I've done a lot of different analytical modeling, and I've done a lot of different case studies evaluating the efficacy of the analytical modeling to represent what happens in the real experiment. Does that make sense? So like we'll test something, test system A, and then we'll make a model, or we'll make a model before we test it, and then we'll test it. And then when the model agrees with the tested thing and the results, there's that feeling of, whoa, math is right. And everyone, like, engineers are weird because like we'll like high five, and then like the more experienced guys will be like, what, you don't believe in math? And we're like, no, we do. We just didn't think the model was going to be so good, because all models are wrong. Some models are just less wrong than others, right? Never forget that, by the way. So yeah. Anyway, I get that really great feeling, and it's not that I chase it, because I've gotten it enough throughout my career, but I tell you what, every time I get it, it's still cool. It's still cool every time I get it. So yeah, that happened on this one. And so I was like, yeah, it's just one of those things, dude. Just one of those things. Like it was a satisfying review for me. So I can't wait to show you. And you know, I think sometimes people forget I do use my own data. I do. And I do not trust silencer performance information without testing the silencer myself, dude. I'm super skeptical now because of what I've seen and what I do. And I'm just telling you the truth. And I use my own data for my own purchasing decisions. I do. I absolutely do. And I know some of you may find that hard to believe. You may think I'm blowing your skirt up or somehow selling you something, which is like the craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, I'm literally not. Like, what? But no, it's true. It really is. I built a better mousetrap because I wanted to catch mice. Okay? And I'm catching them. There's no mystery here, guys. There's no conspiracy. Okay, I am getting some weird DMs from people, and I am reading some really weird stuff online. And believe me, just because I don't respond to public arguments does not mean that I don't see them. I just choose not. I choose whether or not to engage. Okay, trust me. Like, I'm not going to sit there and argue on the internet all day. That's not. I have a life. Okay. And folks say all kinds of things, and I see it. It's fine. There are a lot of conspiracy theories about PEW science, but I'm here to tell you there actually are not aliens. I wish there were. Okay, I wish there were. Okay, topic 3 at a time of 31 minutes and 43 seconds. Man, I don't know if it's because the chili I ate was really spicy because we put a bunch of jalapenos in it. I got to blow my nose. I will be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to blow my nose. I was like, man, and you know what? I was just thinking, I was telling you about this chili, right? So my lady and I, we make this wonderful, wonderful venison chili, and we make large batches of it, so it'll kind of last the week, and even when it's cold outside, it's really great, heat it up. So it's pretty spicy, but I got to thinking just now, I have some remote trail cameras I've set up in this new hunting area. And guess what I saw on the camera today? I saw an axis deer. Yeah. It's not a whitetail. I saw an axis. It's not native. It's not a native species. They're actually native to like Nepal or something. Excuse me. Like Nepal or India or something. I'm still learning about them. They're bigger than whitetail. They're spotted, and like they're kind of like reddish brown with white spots. And like I said, they're bigger than whitetail, and they actually graze like cattle, so they'll eat grass. Well, I mean, deer can eat grass too, but they can't eat as much. They're not that. They're like whitetail deer are ruminant animals, like they'll chew their cud, but they're not, their stomach, their digestive systems can't handle a lot of grass. But the axis deer, they can. But the really weird thing about axis deer is that they can eat grass and the other food that deer eat, right? So it's a little bit of a problem if you're doing habitat management, right? Because what if you have like livestock like cattle? Well, you have cattle on your land, and you have axis, and you have whitetail. How would you manage that? So I'm sort of learning some of that stuff. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, I saw an axis deer, and it was like toward the end of the day today. I kind of checked the camera. I have a cloud-based app, so I can check the cameras, just to see what kind of animal activity is there. And I looked at it. I was like, oh my god. And the reason I thought about that just now when I was thinking about the chili is because axis deer is supposed to taste really, really good. And I have never eaten it before. So when I kill one and eat one, I will let you know. Okay, so we're on topic 3 right now, right? I wrote down 31 minutes and 43 seconds, and we're well on our way. Okay, so this is supposed to be listener questions. Let's dive in. It's been a while. So I let's answer a few. I like doing them, and you ask such good ones. And so I think, let's do it. Okay, let's pull up my spreadsheet here. Our handy dandy spreadsheet. maximize this so I can get a good view of the questions here. Okay. Oh man, I'm getting good water here. Okay, this is weird. Some of the cells are too small. It looks like it's cutting off some of the questions. I got to make some of the cells bigger. You guys ask them. How did that even happen? Oh, you know what happens? Like when I transcribe them from Instagram, sometimes I add some language. So because you have to, sometimes you guys have to abbreviate them. So I write something so I won't forget what you were actually saying. Okay. So last time on listener questions, we left off on question 173, sub-question 45. And keep in mind, we're on the third solicitation. This was sub-question 45 of the third solicitation. The question was, do you use anything like Rockset to help secure your QD mounts? And I went on to answer, no, never. I use Torque only. I talked about why you probably don't need to use Rockset. I mean, there are probably rare occasions when you do, but I talked about why you probably don't. And so if you want to kind of listen to that answer to my answer to that question, you can find it on a previous episode of the podcast when I answered listener questions. And to find that, you would go to the website, search for listener questions, and the most recent episode that I tagged with that meta tag, you'll find. Okay, so let's move on. Question 174, sub-question 46 of the third solicitation. How do you think the Surefire brake would compare to the 3-prong flash hider suppressed? Adding to mine if you make it. Oh, I bet he says adding to this question if it makes it. The four blast deflector holes are beyond the labyrinth seals. Okay. First of all, I want to say this has been discussed a lot, and I get this question all the time. But I also want to say, and I'm reaching over right now, it just so happens I have a brake, a Surefire brake on my desk. Which one is this? Hold on. I got it sent for a PEW Science member. This is a 5/8 one. Wait, do I have a 5.56? Oh, I think I have a 5.56 one too. I think he sent both. I can't remember. Well, whatever he did. Wait, what is this? A Form 3? Hold on a second, guys. What's going on here, guys? Oh, good. Yeah, that's that Form 3. Oh, I need to file that. Yeah, so I have this this brake in front of me. It's a Surefire muzzle brake, and it's used. Looks in pretty good shape. And so this question, this lady or gentleman is asking, how do I think this is going to using this is going to compare to the 3-prong? And this guy added to his question, the 4 blast deflector holes are beyond the labyrinth seals. So this is actually a really good point that this gentleman asks or mentions. I'm going to go ahead and not answer that. I'm not going to address that second part until I answer the first part. So first of all, it's a good question. And I think what's going to happen when you use a brake instead of the 3-prong on the particular RC2 silencers, I think what's going to happen is you probably increase the muzzle suppression. And the reason you're probably doing that is because you are increasing the flow restriction by blocking some of the path to the initial venting orifices this is? In the holes in the blast chamber. I think you're probably occluding them, or you're changing the gas flow in a way that it doesn't reach them in the same way as with the 3-prong. You feel me? I don't know if you're blocking them or what. Okay, but I'm speculating a little bit because I haven't tested it yet, but I will, because I mean, obviously I'm holding at least a 7.62 one right now. And I'm going off some anecdotal experiences shared with me by a couple of PEW Science members. and some shooters in the general public. Some people have shared their experience with me. And so I'm kind of I'm giving you some educated guesses right now. Now, to the second part of your question. Those little ports you're talking about, and I'm looking at this break right now in front of me, so I'm holding it. You're right. So what he's talking about is, he's not talking about the big chambers in the break. It's a 2-port break, so he's not talking about the 2 chambers. What this dude's, later gentleman, I'm assuming it's a dude, what this dude's talking about is these little round ports which are on the top and the sides of the brake. So what I see I see thrust redirection for shooting this unsuppressed. I think that's for recoil kinematics unsuppressed. That's what those are for. And this gentleman is saying, well, they're forward of the labyrinth seals. Right? So that's a lot different than the war comp, in which the ports are right near the seal interface on the collar, and there are no labyrinth seals. So I think that it's not going to be that bad, but what a great question. I mean, what a really well thought out question. Because this guy is, first of all, he's asking if the brake and the flash hider are going to be different. But that's not all. He was also asking, yeah, but those 4 ports are right near those seals. Is that going to influence it? He's basically asking in so many words, is the proximity of the vent orifice being close to the seal interface going to compromise the seal? And that question is really, really good. Because with the war comp, we saw that the ports right next to the taper, for lack of a better term, it was shock load gas leak city out of there. So this is a really good question. Are these labyrinth seals going to be able to hang? I think they will. Just looking at it in my hand, sometimes I wish I had a video element to this, but it's easier for me not to. So yeah. So in short, I think you're gonna make it a little quieter at the muzzle with the brake. I think maybe you're gonna increase flow restriction a little bit, and maybe increase the at-ear signature on the Mark 18 a little. Maybe, I don't know, because I'm not sure, because I don't know how the muzzle signature will interact. If you get a lower muzzle signature, how is that going to interact with the ear? Right? I can't wait to test it. Man, PEW Science members sent me this, so sent me this brake, and I'm pretty sure he sent me a 5.56 brake too. So at the very least, we tested on 7.62, and then you know the answer, and then 5.56 will be just another test, but we'll know the phenomenology, won't we? All right, let me put this back in the box. Oh my gosh! Oh, a little. Speaking of rock set, Surefire includes a little tube of rock set with every mount. Little tube of rock set to ruin your barrel. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Surefire. Don't hate me more than you already do. Okay, that was a great question, sir, ma'am. Question 175, sub-question 47. Are 9mm pistol and PCC testing next after 5.56 data? Thank you for the amazing research. Like I said, research, like I'm like all sophisticated and stuff. Yeah, so you're asking, you're basically insinuating that I'm going to continue 5.56 data, and then you're asking if you're going to get 9mm on pistol and carbine, and the answer is I'm going to jump around probably. there's you know what, they're probably the 9mm stuff it's probably going to start happening, and it's probably going to be interdispersed within the data. Okay, I'm not sure I will take a break from any one thing. I think I will start mixing it in when I can. The thing is, for pistol caliber carbine, we need a host. That's paramount, and I'm trying to shy away from the MP5. I've actually I've tested the MP5 and I've tested the Noveski Space Invader too with PewSoft. I did that several years ago on a little internal study I did at a range with some folks to prove something. It's one of those early things I did. So yeah, I know how they work. But I'm trying to shy away from the MP5, although it's probably the best host because of how expensive they are and not accessible to people. It's not like a Mark 18. The Mark 18 sucks, but like for silencers, right? But it's not like it's not like it's just something off the shelf. Oh, let me just get an MP5 at my gun store. Like, let me just configure this MP5 and have it shipped to me really quick. Like, it's just not. It's old, it's cool, but it's super not readily available all the time. And frankly, it's not as accessible to a lot of people as, like, I don't know, an AR. So a good pistol caliber carbine is going to be rare. And it's honestly almost pushing me to do the CMMG radially delayed blowback thing. Even though, I mean, one could argue it's more rare. Just to the proliferation of the MP5. It's like, what a weird problem to have. This is such a niche problem that, like, you would never discuss with anybody. But I mean, we are where we are. And the silencer nerds that are listening, like the longtime industry people, are probably just like nodding their head like, yeah, it sucks. Why don't we have more, delayed locked bolt 9mm guns? I'm like, I don't know, dude. It bugs me too. I saw what's his face, LMT just came out with someone told me it was a short stroke piston 9mm gun, 9mm carbine. I don't know. I don't even know what that would mean for a host. I mean, what's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to get a host and characterize it and understand it. And once we understand it, be like, okay, this will be appropriate. Because what do we not want to do, guys? We don't want to turn this into the Mark 18 of 9mm. You feel me? You know what I mean by that? Okay, I hope you do. If you don't, go listen to every episode before this. What concerns me about this is, even if, like, it just in general, pistol caliber carbine, I hate that term. The term is subgun, guys. The thing that concerns me about subguns and subgun testing with pistol silencers on them and subgun silencers is that people might take results and try to extrapolate them to a CZ Scorpion or something, like some dumb, like, direct blowback weapon that's going to be dumb loud at your ear. And that's okay. That was really rude. I'm gonna rephrase that. The CZ Scorpion might not have the same at-ear signature due to ejection port signature contribution, okay? Due to the direct blowback action mechanism. It's not that it's dumb. It's just that it might not be the same. And so yeah. Okay, that's... So, I mean, your question's good, and you're asking kind of what... if the testing's next, but, I mean, should we start to ask about hosts now? Should we try to get everyone's favorite 9mm subgun picks? What are you going to pick? I mean, please tell me you know something I don't. Like, what are you going to pick? MP5, CMMG, radially delayed, RDB, radial delayed blowback. What else is there? Don't say TP9. Just don't, because I have one. We're not doing that. It's dumb. What else is there? There's the LMT thing that just came out. What else? Didn't Angstat have like there was like a UDP and an MDP or something? They were going to do a roller locked. Do we do roller locked? If we do roller delayed, we're going to do MP5 or SP5, right? Right? So that basically counts out roller lock unless you really want to say MP5, which I'm happy to do, because guess what that's going to do? It's going to have to make it's going to get me to have a reliable MP5 clone or an MP5 for a test host, which is cool because we can like figure out how to get one. It'll give me an excuse because I want to kind of get back into the roller lock game because I miss it. I mean, I don't miss the headache of the clone world, but I miss the sweet German mechanics of the system. So yeah, what are we gonna do if we don't pick MP5 or roller lock? What are we gonna do? CMMG or some kind of weird piston? How can the piston be good for silencers? You think that's gonna work? What, you think it's gonna not vent something? It's I bet it's gonna be loud. No, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I haven't tested it, but so yeah, be thinking about that. Okay, good question. Oh, and you also said thank you for the amazing research. Well, you are most welcome. Thank you for the kind words. I do mean that. Okay. Question 176, sub-question 48. How will a suppressor act differently when using a direct impingement versus piston system on an AR? Okay, so this later gentleman is asking if your gas system on your AR is directly impinging a gas column from the gas tube into the carrier key to unlock versus if it is sending the gas impulse through a port to a piston assembly and transferring that impulse through the solid steel piston into the carrier. They're saying, how will a suppressor act differently? All right, let me get some water. That's a good question. Okay, well, first of all, the silencer itself may not act significantly differently at all. But the sound signature perceived by the shooter and maybe even bystanders could change. Could. A few variables. There's a few variables there. It's rare. It's rare to have a direct impingement system and a piston system have the same timing. It's rare. So that alone is going to probably change the ejection port signature a little bit, just because it's like, how are you going to get it to act exactly the same way? And then, something else that happens with a piston gun is you may have venting that occurs out of the piston assembly up front. Weren't we just talking about this with the 9mm thing with like the LMT thing, the LMT example? Yeah, we were. So you might have that vent happening, and then and depending on the gun, it might be more significant or less significant. It just depends. And so I would really need to test this to understand the significance of that part of the operating system, I think. So that's another variable. What else? Oh, I think there's probably going to be some mechanical noise, and the mechanical noise, it's going to be additive. Every little bit kind of adds up, and it influences the signature in a weird way sometimes. So there's that. There could also be some latent gas from the carrier key in the direct impingement system that could possibly maybe influence at your signature, depending on it depends on the system and how it's adjusted. So man, I hate saying that it depends, but it really depends. Your question is actually very complex. So that's my very complex answer. And the simple answer is, I guess we'll see. I'll have to test it. Okay, how are we doing on time? I want to shoot my wad here. Okay, we're about an hour in. We have time to do some more of these and then keep going. Yeah, we have time. It's going to be great. Okay, good question, sir, ma'am. I appreciate that. Question 177, sub-question 49. What piece or pieces of gym equipment would you buy to start a home gym? Oh, well, there's a question out of left field. Start a home gym. Yeah, I've never been a fan of home gyms. I understand their utility. I just enjoy leaving my house to work out. That's just something everyone's different. So if I were to do that, if I were to train at home, which I have done, what piece or pieces would I buy? Okay, here's what you do. Pull-up bar. So you need, it's either going to be, you can build one, put it in a doorway, or you can get a rack that has a pull-up bar on it. And I think you need a power rack and a barbell. Okay, so, and probably both. The pull-up bar and a power rack and barbell. That's probably your building block. That's your main thing. And you know you can do almost everything with a pull-up bar and a barbell and a weight set, dude. Like, then after that, you add dumbbells or kettlebells, and you're golden, my friends. You're golden, dude. Think about it, man. You got a power rack, and when I say power rack, I mean a combo rack. So here's what you could do. You could do a power. No, I don't. Actually, that's not true. A power rack is not necessarily a combo rack. So for those of you non-power lifters out there, so a power rack is going to be a rectangular frame with pegs in which you can put the barbell at different heights inside the frame. And so you can use it to squat. You can also lower it and you can put a bench in there and use it to bench press. And then power racks can also have it so the barbell can be outside of the cage and you could like receive it in like the clean position, for example, if you were to want to do some weightlifting or like power cleans. You could also, my train of thought just completely left the station. That was wild. Like my brain just turned off. Oh, right. The power rack can also have a pull-up bar on it. So you could do pull-ups in the rack. So the power rack itself could be really versatile, and they have some that can actually fold out and attach to your like garage wall. Those are crazy. I mean, there's really, really cool products that have come out in the past, I don't know, 10 years. So that's something that's really cool. Now, if you want to go a little more advanced on this and you want to do your pull-up bar differently, what you could do as far as you could get a combo rack. A combo rack is like a powerlifting rack. So it's gonna basically be a squat rack that you pull the pins out, the arms slide down in it, and then you can bench press with it. You slide and lock the bench in there, and that's just for a bench and squat. And then you deadlift by picking up the barbell off the floor. So you don't need any equipment for that except for the barbell and the weights. But yeah, so I would say for a home gym, for me, I think, and the safest bet for you for home gym would probably be a power rack, because you can put the bars through the uprights, and when you bench or squat, you wouldn't need a spotter, because if you didn't make it up, you could just let it down, sit down, and not die. And believe me, that's important. So yeah, I hope that helps. That's a really good question. Good question. Oh yeah, and then obviously once you get that all set up and you build your platform with plywood and horse mat or whatever you get from Tractor Supply, after you're done with that, you get some dumbbells, and eventually maybe you get some cable machines too, because you go to the bodybuilding. Yeah, okay. Question 170. That's a good question. Question 178, sub-question 50. What is your go-to range session when you're not doing Pew Science work? You assume I'm never working. No, you assume I stop working. That's cute. No, I wish. Dude, what a good question. My go-to range session, like when I'm just going out to shoot for fun, is what you're saying? Because I'm never not doing Pew Science work. But when I go out to shoot for fun, I like, and I've said it before, and it probably sounds stupid, but I take my really big orange inflatable REI sleeping pad and I put it in the back of my truck, and I get my 11.5-inch mid-length gas machine gun with a grip pod, and I plink steel. And I think it with a silencer on, obviously. And it's one of the most fun, with the EOTech, no magnification. I don't use magnification for that. I just take that rifle how it is, how I have it in my house, and I get in the back of the truck. I put my steel target out in the field. I get in my truck and I drive out far away from it and I shoot it. And I sometimes stop shooting it, put the safety on, roll over, and look at the clouds. And ponder life and think about how lucky we are to live in a country where I can do that and not be shot back at. So that's really cool. And sometimes I'll do that same thing with 308. Like I'll take my bolt action 308 and suppressed, obviously, and I'll do that same thing. Just don't be too close to the steel or you punch right through it with 308. 308's a man's cartridge. And after that, maybe I'll mag dump my 11.5 out of the fire because I like how the OBC feels in full auto. I just do. Sometimes I just mag dump just because I want to see the brass eject and I just want to hear it. Just because I love it. I just love everything about it. I love how it smells. I just love it. I love shooting machine guns. Yeah. And then, or maybe I'll practice my carry gun shooting. I'll sit with that steel. I'll shoot my pistol. A lot of times my go-to will be I'll shoot the pistol first. And if I have time, I'll do one of those other three things. I might shoot my pistol, then do some mag dumps. Or I might shoot my pistol and shoot my AR or my bolt action. But that's pretty much my go-to. I like slow, relaxing plinking at between 100 and 200 yards, maybe 300 yards. Hitting steel and with no magnification on the AR and just and getting my reps in with the 308 bolt action just because I shoot animals with it, so I want to make sure I just have my chops in different positions and stuff. And like, I don't know, that's kind of like I just really like to relax. I spend so much energy doing other stuff. Like I kind of do want to learn some other shooting techniques and stuff, but there's not time for that right now. So maybe I will when I have more time. But right now, that's kind of what I like to do when I get to go out there, when I have some time. So thanks for asking that. That's actually really cool. It's a cool question. Okay. Let's see. We're doing on time. We're doing pretty good. Okay. Next question. Question 179, sub-question 51. Just bought the 11.5-inch gunner barrel from Faxon and wanted your definitive opinion on it. Is it a good barrel or a cool barrel? It's a cool barrel, I think. I mean, nothing more, nothing less. It had the gas system length I wanted for the barrel length, dude. It seemed to be machined well. I don't know, coated well, nitrited or something. That's it. I don't think it's a laser beam, but I don't think it's bad. So yeah, I mag dumped through it. So yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I don't know if you're looking to justify your purchase, sir, man, but I think it's not that expensive. Just shoot it and shoot it out and get another one. It's not a custom barrel or anything. Can't go wrong, dude. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry too much about it. It's just a barrel. It's just an AR barrel. It's a consumable part, my friends. Question 180. Sub-question 52. Do you have any barrel length restriction information for the new Helios QD TI? No, I don't, but the manufacturer probably does. You contact CGS. They're the ones who make it. I don't. It's really, I say that, but I actually don't know if they know. But I am assuming that it's going to be a function of cartridge, mount type, and firing schedule. It's not an easy barrel length restriction. It's not really an easy answer. You could probably put it on an obnoxiously short barrel, but you're gonna erode the initial bore opening. If you were, for example, put a direct thread on an 8-inch 5.56 and mag dumped over and over and over and over again, you probably would hurt. I mean, because I can just barely see the start of mouth erosion on 11.5-inch 5.56 full auto after like 3 or 4 30-round mags in a row with the Helios QD TI. Like, I've done that. just to see, just to get my Liberty's Defense silencer cover brown. I went absolutely ham. I was just like mag dumping in a trash style. Like, it was actually pretty exhilarating. Machine guns are great. And yeah, I was just like, yeah, I was like, let's just do it. I wanted to burn some of that Hornady Frontier ammo. I was like, I wonder if this is going to blow up my gun. Let's find out by mag dumping. That's safe. Yeah. Don't do that. So probably don't do that with your Helios QD TI direct thread like that. But why would you? I don't know that you would. It's not really for that. I mean, you could. It's not going to hurt it it seems to be fine. I don't know. I guess I don't really answer your question. That's all I know. So I haven't broken mine. It's not the same type of silence. It's funny. You talk about these barrel length restrictions with silencers. People talk, oh, well, it's titanium, so you obviously can't put it on anything less than XYZ. And I'm like, man, I don't think people understand, like, some silencers behave completely differently than others. And the material does matter, but, man, silencers that are just a bunch of cones are way different than this thing. This thing's weird, so I don't know. Ask CGS, I think. I think that they would be better qualified. Question 181, sub-question 53. How tough is the Helios QD TI? You briefly discussed it some weeks back. This is the same question. No, it's a different question, but it's just saying it's asking almost the exact same thing. Huh. That's like it's literally the same as the last question. How tough it's a lot tougher than most titanium silencers, actually. So it's actually, you know what's really interesting about this? I forgot. I was going to tell you guys. I don't know how much I can say, but depending on the type of mount, you can probably do some wild stuff with this thing. Stay tuned. I think. I don't know if I'm blowing up someone's spot, but the more I think about this, the more I'm like, should I just build a machine gun servo system that I can remote fire to burn down silencers for you, so like people can stop asking? Like, we'll do it so it's not, I don't know, we'll do something where the limiting factor won't be like the gas tube. So like we can just destroy a silencer without destroying the barrel or something. How do we do that? You probably can't do it with like an in-canal like Helios QD, but maybe some other ones. I don't know. Could be cool for science. Oh, excuse me. Oh, man, that's how I know it's getting late. Okay, we're going to do one more question. Question 182, sub-question 54. OSS HXQD 556K data for the Mark 18? Oh, that's a good question. Dude, that's a good question. Absolutely, sir, ma'am. Absolutely. Stay tuned, actually. That's crazy. Yeah, it's been tested. I've tested that silencer. Oh, and you know what? Thanks for reminding me, because that's a dedicated 556 silencer. And I actually probably need to publish that so you guys can have that data point. Oh, crap, because I haven't published it, and it's dedicated 556. I have some other dedicated 556 to show you, too. I want to kind of get those out sooner than later. Ooh, thank you for that idea, listener, Instagram follower, friend. No, but thank you. That's a really great question. And it wasn't really a question. It was just, you just said data for the, I said, I had a question mark. The answer is yes, there is data, and it will be published. So thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna highlight that entire row here in a spreadsheet. I'm going to save it. Perfect, and we're done. We're done with that right now. We have, out of that solicitation, we have a few more. I bet you we get one or two more episodes, and then that'll be done, and we'll get another solicitation. We'll do round 4. How crazy is that? Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep all these questions, and I'm gonna write a coffee table book for you. It's gonna be amazing. Okay, I'll close that out. Okay. That's great. Now we can move into topic 4 at a time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 59 seconds. I beat the minute mark. See, that's a good omen. Topic 4, more field testing. Speaking of testing, more field testing coming up. That's right. And thank you for your patience as we ramp back up after the holidays. It's really a busy time right now, and it's going to be crazy. So I appreciate your patience. There's a lot of silencers I haven't tested, and there are actually a lot of data that I haven't published too. So like I have tested a lot of stuff you haven't seen. And so I'm going to continue to push out data in accordance with what I think you guys want and what you've requested. Okay? And also, I will also be satisfying Pew Science client needs and industry needs as I see fit. Okay? I'm making intelligent choices here, and I think so. And concurrently with this data publication practice, I will continue. I'll also be testing some highly requested stuff. Believe me, I listen to you guys. I'll be testing some client stuff coming up. I'll be testing some general stuff I think is neat, and I think you'll think it's neat too. I think overall the stuff coming up is going to help everybody. I do. Yeah. So, I will tell you this, the weather sucked lately and the holidays slowed us down. But look at this. I didn't even skip an episode of the podcast, dude, which is wild when you think about it, right? I actually didn't think I was going to be able to push through and hit an episode every week, but we did it. We did. I haven't had a vacation from this. So don't be surprised when I take one, because when I do, I'm going to be off of comms. You're going to be like, where's Jay? Like, I don't know. So, and you probably won't even know what happens. Like all of a sudden I'll just go dark. Like, where'd Jay go? But yeah, again, check out the image I'm going to post with this episode. That grenade launcher is crazy. I feel like that's a good image to represent 2022. Down is up is down. Cats and dogs living together under one roof. What in tarnation? Yeah. I hope you, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope it was positive for you folks. Okay, I hope it was positive. I wanted that to be the theme, and so please stay tuned for some unique data this week. Okay, stay safe, and I will talk with you folks again soon. Okay, bye.